What you doing?
Fixing the Jeep.
You are?
Get my wrench.
You need your wrench?
Yeah.
Alright, what size?
The smaller one.
The smaller one? The 10 millimeter? Can I get under there and work now?
Hold on. It's not yours. It's just fixing the Jeep. It's still broken.
Okay. Start them out young, folks. Alright guys, welcome back to TeeDogCustoms to another video. I hope you can hear me because I've got the heater turned on over there. Hopefully this miking system does what it's supposed to do, and it is supposed to cut some of that out. So we'll see what happens. But in my last video I had covered stiffening up the rear of the frame. So putting in a crossbar pretty much. We're gonna look at what will need to happen to put a cross member, excuse me, in the front of this. So we're gonna dive into that right now. What I'm thinking is running something from either here, maybe right here, under to over there. There's plenty of room. We just have to clear the diff and the axle, or drive shaft, I mean. But there should be plenty of room. It's not going to be as big a deal as I thought. So I went ahead and drew up this template here with brake line. That is pretty much the easiest way. We'll go off of this top curve. So we'll want my piping to follow this curve right here. That will be the top of it. By the way, my wife made me some pineapple water. She said it's good for me. Whatever that means. It's not bad. Literally tastes like pineapple water though. So it doesn't have the most flavor. Anyways, so that's exactly what we need to do. Let's hop under there and I'll show you exactly how this is gonna work. It'll be something like that. So remember guys, I want it to be removable. So now I need to figure out how I'm gonna make the you know, the tie points, how I want to do them. So give me a second, let's figure all that out. I strongly suggest you use some kind of eye protection for this. And let's see how this does. Oh my goodness. It has been a minute since I've used a Diablo blade, but that cut through that like butter, and it's not even hot. And look at that, guys. It's like a perfect cut. Let me turn the light on here so you guys can actually see. Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. I am super impressed. Wow. This is gonna be a whole lot easier than I thought. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to question my angles a little bit. So I'm still excited that it cut so well, but I'm starting to question my angles, let me just put it that way. But we'll go ahead and cut this piece. We should have plenty of steel, even if I do make a mistake. Should be fine. So we're gonna have a little chat. I know y'all are probably making fun of me right now, but 45s make a 90. Brain fart. So that is not the right angle we are really wanting. So I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna keep these angles at a 45, and then we'll just make the others at the correct angle, and then just fill it with weld. All right, so I've made a mistake. I cut the wrong angle. I somehow cut it at a 45 instead of a 30-degree angle. If you take this, see if I can remember how, and then we're trying to find this angle. So this is your pivot point. If you come across like that, that is a 30-degree angle. And then if we came all the way right here, that would be a 45-degree angle. So we made a miscalculation. It's about a 30-degree angle. So I'm gonna cut this piece at a 30-degree angle and see what that comes up with. You know, it's not the end of the world. We'll figure it out, but it does kind of suck. So because a 30-degree angle is quite different than a 45, this is not going to work. So what is going to have to happen is, what am I trying to do here? It should still be fine, because I should still be able to keep this point, the inside point, the same, and just make it less. So let's see if that is accurate. If I go like this, well, let's see. We'll find a 30-degree angle like that. All right. There we go. Now we'll just zip that. This like sort of work for me is very tedious and it takes a long time. So for me specifically, so I think that's one reason why like I haven't, it's an area I need to grow in, and another reason why I'm like trying to do this on myself is so I do get better at it. And I'm also trying to like actually take my time and do it right, so I'm happy with it. You know, I might not finish this tonight, and that's okay. I'll roll it into, you know, tomorrow or whenever else I get a chance. But in the past, I would typically like just jam it out because I want to get it done that same day and cut a lot of corners. And it starts looking really janky at that point. And I'm done. That side of Tanner is done. We're hopefully progressing and getting better at what we do, and I think it's actually starting to show in the Jeep build. Like the first time I put the Jeep build together, I just did exactly that. I put it together and I didn't take my time to do it right, and so now I'm with more time, I'm going back and It's taken longer because I have to either redo stuff that I already did, you know, and stuff like that. So anyways, kind of a little rant right there. So it is like a couple days later from when we were last in here, but the other day when I was starting to weld this bracket up, hey look, you can always go out this route too. Well then don't close the door all the way if you can't open it. So the other day we were working on the bracket, the brace. My battery on the camera ran out, and I didn't have the camera case out here. It was inside, and I was all dirty. Would have had to get cleaned up to go inside and get it. So I just ended up welding it up. So we've got it all welded up, and I already like mocked it up there. It's gonna work perfectly. I just now need to figure out how I'm going to mount it to the frame of the Jeep. So I've got a couple different options. One of the options is to weld it in, which would be more of like a permanent fixture, which I don't want to do because it's so close to the oil pan, you know, like an inch and a half, something like that, 2 inches, that if I were to ever want to change the oil pan gasket or look at the, you know, bottom end through the oil pan, I don't think I'd be able to take that off, and it would just be in the way, period. So I'm going to, I believe, use this plate right here. So use that plating, and I think what we'll do is somehow, if I can get this. Didn't work, but if I can somehow cut this, and then it still needs to be cut to length like this way, and then I'm thinking weld a plate on like this, and then it will have bolts running into the frame. So I'm thinking like drilling out holes and then putting kind of like Zerk nut fittings, but actually welding just the nut to the frame, like up in it, if that makes sense, and then just bolting, you know, straight to that. So that's kind of my thinking on how I'm going to finish this up. But the back brace that I did in last video, which is, you might not be able to see it, but it's like right there. So that brace actually made a pretty big difference in driving and stability, like around corners. I know it kind of sounds weird, but unless my brain is doing mind tricks with me, I feel like I actually can tell a difference, which is pretty cool. Just stiffening up the chassis a little bit, and I feel like major things are gonna change when I actually get this one finished and done. I just feel like it's gonna keep the whole front end more stable, especially under like low RPMs, like in first gear when you're first starting out. There's a lot of, you know, things are in motion, and there's a lot of, you know, vibrations. Couple that with the, you know, the Cummins is just a very vibrating engine. So I'm hoping to notice a big difference. So we got this cut where, or marked where the frame rails are. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them off right there. And then we will maybe take a little off of this just to maybe make it flat. And then we'll weld some flat plating right to this spot here, and then once we get that welded on nice, then we can actually you know, bolt it up into the Jeep. So I think that's the plan. So I'm gonna start by cutting this off now. So now what I'm actually thinking about doing, instead of like I was going to, which was weld these flat plates in, I think I'm going to actually get the plates cut out and then actually mounted to the Jeep, and then put the bar up there and then tack it. So I've got the bolt holes, everything all figured out. That's probably the right way to do it. So I'm gonna make it easy on myself and do it that way. That way I can get this, you know, I'm not trying to fool with the plates being, you know, not straight, each one off. Just literally stick it up there, boom, bada bing, we're good to go. You found your bubbles! First of all, I went underneath, ground the surface down where I'm going to be mounting to. And so I took this, made these tabs, so these will sit like this and be welded. But there's a little contour in the frame, like right there. Hopefully you guys can see that. So I had to bend it like that to contour to the frame. And then once I get this where I want, and like this tacked in to here, then I'll go back and fill this with weld, so it's welded in. But there'll be 2 bolts on either side of this line. Those will be holding it to the frame itself. All right, and there we go. I tell you what, these step bits, if you have a nice set, they will pay off so fast. Okay, so I'm gonna run under there and mock this up real quick. We found the center of this. I know this kind of seems elementary, but I've had a lot of new subscribers recently, and if you're watching this and you're new to kind of work, but 3 inches, so half a 3 inch, obviously 1.5. So marked each side, then drew a line. This is where we're gonna cut with the angle grinder. We'll cut it, you know, halfway through or so. Then we will pop it in the vise, bang it with the hammer to bend it We need a little bit of a bend because now we're working on the other side, and to get that right we need a bend. So pop my thing on here real quick. Is it loud? We didn't need much, we just needed a little bend. So I might go one more hit with this, but that's about it. Whoa. Also, I haven't bolted down my vise, so I need to make a vise stand. I just, there, that's about perfect. So now what we'll do is we'll do the same thing. We'll put the holes in for the bolts. We'll use a punch here. And since I can move this plate, I made it big as far as long wise. So what we'll do is we'll just punch the holes yeah, we'll punch the holes, and then we'll be able to move the plate wherever we desire. Guys, let me show you what I've gotten so far under here. Alright, so we've got the one bracket right here. That's in. We've got the other bracket right there. That's in. And we've got the cross member right there. Now, I can't do this with my hand set up, but what's going to happen is I'm going to drill these holes out into the frame. And then what I'm gonna do is there is a hole in the back here where I could reach a nut in, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it that way or if I'm going to weld it in yet, but we'll see. It's like 70 degrees out, I think, today. 70, mid 70s. Just beautiful, beautiful. Up in there, you can see we got the bolt, one of the bolts at least. So what I did is I put a nut in there, and then I'll carefully weld this and then grind it down. And then I got the hole drilled over there, and so got a couple more holes to do, but we should be able to get it all done, and then we can get those in and tacked in. So as I was telling you guys about step bits, I can't find my good step bit that goes up to a 9/16, and that's the hole size that I was looking for. Anyways, so it has made this much longer and take, you know, twice, 4 times as long because I've been trying to look for that. So anyways, let me get off. We'll get that wrapped up. I'll show you guys. Hopefully I can weld this and I'll probably stick the bolt in just so I don't mess up any of the threads, but I'm hoping I don't, you know, slip up, and because there's not much room for air. So wish me luck. Got it tacked in right there. So now we'll pop it out and we'll, you know, weld it in nice and strong and do some bracing on it. But yeah, should have this wrapped up very shortly. So I made these like cuts right here, and I'm going to weld them down like that, here, and then across here. And then we're gonna box in, if I can show you right here, we're gonna make like some bracing there, and then do the same thing over here. Whoops, do the same thing over here as well. But it's coming out really great. And then once we get it all done, next time I'm up at my cousin's house, we'll go ahead and powder coat it, probably teal, just because why not. But let me finish welding this up. I would like to spend some time with my family, and if I get this knocked out real quick, then I can pop it in the Jeep and we'll be good to go. Like I said, I'm not a welder or a fabricator really, but these I don't know, I think those are pretty good, at least for me. Okay, this is probably way overdone, but that's kind of what it looks like at the end. Where we had to cut that line, I went ahead and welded that up, then we'll grind it down. But yeah, came out good. Now the other side, I still need to plate it off over here and run some bracing under here. You know, but this side's done on the top side, so we'll do the same thing over here. So I've wrapped up the top of these things. The only thing left to do now is worry about this part, and same thing over here. And before I powder coat this, I'm going to grind all these welds down and then take a look. Once I grind those down, I got my welder working better. I'm not sure what happened when I was doing these welds. but I think maybe the wire was old, so I think that might have been some of the issue, because I just put a new spool in, and it was working way better. Anyways, so on this though, I think I'm gonna put it back in the Jeep for now, because I want to do some stuff with my family and I want to see if this works. So this is in like temporarily, like this, and then you know, we'll finish welding that up. Probably not in this video, but at some point, and then we'll actually go over powder coating this one as well at some point. But this is a cross member. I hope it gives you some ideas for your your engine cross member, kind of how I'm doing it to be able to bolt it in and out. You know, so there it is, guys. Let me finish this up and we'll get it back in the Jeep. And just like that, guys, we are done ish. So let me hop under here, show you what the end product. Boom, kaboom. Looks kind of just, you know, nothing fancy right now. It will look a lot better once we grind the welds down and finish off this cap. I think I'm gonna cut it at an angle and then just lay a flat piece and tie it all in, so on both sides. But this thing ain't going nowhere. So that's all that was and is to tie that in. That is it, guys, for this video at least. Stay tuned if you want to see the finished product of me actually making that pretty, powder coating it. That will be coming in a video in the very near future. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please give this a thumbs up or subscribe if you're not. I do appreciate it. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next video. Peace. I just finished taking the Jeep for a spin down the road. Whoa. And man, it feels more stable, I'm not gonna lie. So I think it was a good idea. I mean, it definitely was needed, I would say, and it did make a difference. I wasn't really sure, but like starting to rain, around corners and stuff like that, I definitely could tell a difference. And at takeoff, and just where there would be like a lot of torque and, you know, possibly, you know, swaying of the Jeep, it made a huge difference. So between the rear and the front, it was much needed. I didn't realize how much till you actually did it. Then it was like, whoa. So I just wanted to throw that in here real quick.